I'm originally from Wexford. I came down here by pure accident. Right? I had this lovely neighbour. His name is Morris Allen, may he rest in peace, but he was Ivan Allen's brother. He was an older brother, and he was a very tall gentleman, walking stick, loved his sheep. And as a child, right, they were our neighbours, and I used to love going out walking with his sheep. Right? So I grew up, I went to secondary school, mum and dad still were friends with the neighbours. And then I left school and I went off and I did science in UCD. And my first year in science in UCD was, lovely. It hadn't been my first choice. And I really kind of always dibbled and dabbled in cooking cakes and biscuits and breads for my father, all right? And that was where I loved cooking, all right? And Dad was always very happy, of course. So after my first year, I came home and Mum knew I wasn't really happy in the white coat and dissecting rabbits and dead dogfish and the smell of formaldehyde. And I was like, science, I don't know. And Mum was saying this to Lil and Morris one day, and Morris said, you know what? You should send her down. I have an old sister-in-law who loves the cooking down in Cork. Why don't you go and give her a buzz, all right? And Mammy said, I wonder. So Mum got on the phone, rang Mrs. Allen. Mrs. Allen said, come down here and I'll meet you, all right? Had a wonderful interview with Mrs. Allen, and Sam said, no, I don't know if I have anything at a time, but my daughter-in-law over the road, I'm sure, is looking for somebody. Who is Dorina? And that is how I ended up going over to meet Dorina. Met Dorina, I think, on a Tuesday, and I came down on this following Sunday night to work for the farm shop for that summer. Did the summer. She asked me would I stay on in September, and asked me to stay on, and here I am in Cork now since 1985. And then I worked with Dorina for the year and a half. Loved it. It was basically 18 students inside in the playroom. The playroom, that tiny little kitchen, the tiny little dining room, the tiny little larder, and it worked. It grew, and that's when I said I would do the course, because what am I going to do, as a 20-year-old? And I did the course. And then after doing the course, I really wanted to get into the kitchen in Ballymaloe, and I did a lovely 2-year stint in the kitchen in Ballymaloe. Back then, you did 3 months in every section. You did 3 months in veg, 3 months in breakfast, 3 months in the second courses, 3 months in desserts, 3 months in the Crawford Art Gallery. Had 3 months assisting on mains. So it gave you a fabulous all-round experience of everything to do with Ballymaloe. I loved it. Who was the head chef? I met Paddy, Billy and Rory, but Mrs. Allen actually was really the head chef. I had applied to go to South Africa to work on a safari ranch, and it was kind of like, okay. Then Dorina that summer was, okay, going to take the plunge with the extension. And Dorina then said, won't you come, really, would you come back, be one of the main teachers here for 32 for the expansion? I'd love you on board. And that's what I did. Yeah, I came back for the expansion. That was then in 1989. The following year then, I got married, went part-time, was still here, and it was actually 1995 when I took a break then of 10 years to help to work with my husband in a restaurant in Mallow, which was an amazing experience and thoroughly loved every moment of it. It was a bistro. We were making all our own stocks, breads, relish, mayonnaises, bistros, lovely customers, and have many fond memories. But at that stage, I suppose I had 5 kids, time home with family, and Dorina heard of it and came back 2 months later, and I'm back here teaching since 2005.